commence. What did we think? Vampires.
I like it so far.
Susan.
That scene, the first scene that was like where what's her name was on the table and she's just like turns like right in front of them. That was kind of crazy. She just like absorbed into the wall. Was that real or was that like a dream of someone?
Oh, because they can do that. They can kind of like make themselves into like a different substance and then just float away like dust or kind of like, I don't know, whatever the book described. I think Susan was really dumb for going to the house by herself. It's like classic things you don't do. And then she became a vampire. So I'm like, well, that's great.
How old is Mark?
I'm not there yet. Oh, okay. So she's into a vampire.
Anybody know how old Mark is?
I think he's 9.
I imagine in like 4th, 5th grade. Yeah.
I was gonna say he's pretty smart for being young.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, you were gonna come out here by yourself with that little thing right there, that flimsy thing. That's not gonna work. Like he's an expert and he's a little kid. I'm just like,
Well, he does reference a lot of things, like like even when he had the altercation with what's his name, Danny. Like he knew not to look at it, and he had like a cross like thing.
Cross.
Yeah,
like he knew what to do. So he seems really knowledgeable. Like he's obviously reads like a lot of different books.
I feel like he's the underdog in characters in my perspective because I never thought about him. I totally like ignored him. I'm like, okay, Danny's missing. Okay, this one's missing. Oh, Susan and the author,
Yeah.
But he's kind of my favorite. He knows so much just by reading.
And now I think like in the beginning when it's the author and the kid, now I think it's Ben and Mark.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark is still not a vampire, right? He hasn't turned into one. Okay, so he's gonna outlive everybody in the town.
I think Mark has an advantage too because I feel like in this type of book where there's something supernatural and it's evil, like demonic, as opposed to other parts of evil, but like if you're a child and you're pure, you have like an advantage kind of, and I feel like Mark has like that childlike innocence in a way still, but he still has the book smarts in terms of what he's read in his comic books to help him against like such an enemy. So I think that's like the reason he survived more versus like Danny and Ralphie didn't. Plus, Danny and Ralphie got caught in the woods, which, they definitely didn't have the advantage there. But I think Mark, he's been like ready for it. And I wonder if when Mark beat up the bully at the very beginning, when all the characters were introduced, I wonder if that was like Stephen King's like foreshadowing that he's going to be able to beat like these supernatural bullies.
Which I completely just like, whatever.
Well, I remember there was a section in the book where Stephen King was just giving a bunch of like random stories, and I remember him coming up, one in that fight, but also I think he was in his room and like I think he had a Dracula action figure or something, and then I remember
he was listening
him
to his parents like talk about Danny and Ralphie.
Yeah, through the duct or something. So kind of cool to see him come back. I didn't finish the reading, but I just remembered that portion of it.
I feel like it's moving quickly as, more characters are being turned into vampires and the protagonists are trying to figure out what to do. But I feel the vampires are being very mysterious too. Like you just read like of what happens after they've been there kind of, and that's pretty mysterious to me. Like I want to see like an action scene where they have a little battle.
I'm also curious, like, who's that gossip, Mabel or whatever? I don't know, they're kind of hinting like this happened before. Like this same thing happened 40 years ago or something.
But there are some secrets the town is good at keeping and stuff, right?
Yeah, and like she would know. And then like, but why would they spare her? Like if 40 years ago everyone turned into vampires like this, why is she like spared? And then where did the vampires go? Like
I wonder if Mabel is another familiar, like Straker. Also, there was a part when somebody was describing like all the people visiting the antique store, and I think the book said that Straker brought out like a little throne for Mabel, so maybe she's like in cahoots with the whole thing, and she is the town gossip, so she knows like what people do, like who might not go missing as quickly, who's doing bad things. Maybe she's trying to be like, let's clean up the town of the scum or whatever. That's a really good question, Julie. I did not think of that. And is she old enough to have been there before? She would have known what happened, and maybe that's why she's still around, because she helped them last time, maybe.
I feel like the father was also kind of like, it didn't take a lot to convince him. So I can see that theory where the older people know, and they're keeping it a secret from, let's say this town was already wiped out before, from the newcomers, even though they're not all like little kids and stuff, like families, like the new community. They're just like, okay, we're not telling them.
But yeah, I'm just like, where, if they were Vampire Town before, where did they all go? And like, why this antique store? Like, we still don't exactly know the purpose.
I was gonna bring that up because I'm like, I'm waiting for them to bring up more
a big
of the
reveal.
store, but they're like not. So maybe until the end, and I'm like, oh hey.
Maybe that's where they sleep at night, or sorry, during the day. I don't know.
Well, where do we think they're storing the vampires? Because they can't come out during the day. And if they're new vampires, they don't know like that well how to control their impulses in terms of like trying to get blood. So are they in the antique store or the house in the cellar? Like how many could he fit in there? I don't know.
Well, like one seemed to be in Eva Miller's or whatever.
Oh, her cellar.
Her cellar.
I was just gonna say, so I'm looking at the beginning. I highlighted some of the people that, right from the bat, they tell you, oh, you know, the father, Donald Callahan or whatever, Mabel Words, and Lester and Harriet Durham or whatever, and then Ava is mentioned. And I'm like, as you guys keep talking about where are they staying, I'm like, I just see boarding house, and I'm like, what if they're hidden inside there? And obviously nobody knows, because they don't come out.
And there's a lot of guests there that could invite different people in, so that would break that rule. And yeah, Ava could be a familiar too then.
Did you guys get to the part where Ava was going down to her cellar? So she has like a cellar and then a deeper cellar. And she was going down there and it smelled bad.
Oh, I think you're on the right track, Julie. That makes sense.
Did she mention it smelled bad, or it was just described as smelling bad?
She said it smelled bad, like when there was a dead animal in the past, but worse. That's kind of how it was described.
And then she didn't even want to go to the deeper cellar.
But there's a little hole.
So maybe the vampires somehow found about this deep cellar and are in there.
What if they're connected between the different houses? Oh my gosh.
Underground.
And then they could get from house to house without being in the sun.
Oh my god.
Without being invited?
Oh, that's true. Dang, I don't know how the rule would work in that case.
No, I was gonna say,
what if you buy an antique and then that's like welcoming them into the house or something? Can they enter the house freely if they bought an antique?
I think they specifically have to be invited, at least from what I know, but maybe this book has Stephen King might adjust the rules. I could see like where if they buy something, oh, let us go install it for you, then they have to be invited in. Or maybe I don't know, because I feel like Barlow hasn't really gone to a bunch of houses. It's been more Straker that's been out and about, but he's not a real vampire. So yeah, I just wonder like if the goal for them is like just mass infection of making everyone vampires, or is it just like get enough and have the rest of them be like their blood supply? I think someone brought it up last time, right? If they're all vampires, like what are they gonna eat?
Mm-hmm.
But it's true. Oh, I guess I'll put it in my
You guys can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not showing anybody else. It's just showing me.
Oh.
I thought Rico was laughing at what I said, and I was like, what? Making a fun thing. You're messing.
So,
Oh,
So how
because
come?
my screen is
How
black. So I
Where's this?
clicked on it and it took me to the
That's
filter.
No, where is
it's
There's
gone now.
it? In the house.
there's one in somebody's house, and then there's one in the Marston house.
Okay.
How come? What happened? Cody, the doctor, got bit, but not turned into a vampire. So how does
It
that
like
work?
sucked it out before it got to him, no?
Mm-hmm.
And he
I
put disinfectant on it.
I think he used like his doctor knowledge against something supernatural, and it worked out, which is actually a big theme in the original Dracula. But also, I don't know like how quickly the process of turning into a vampire happens. I feel like if you're bitten, and maybe like it has to be over several times, perhaps, because I know there has been another character in a book I read, and they just got bitten, but they also bit the vampire, so they kind of like had like a back and forth thing going, and she didn't turn right away. Like it took a while. Like she was really tired and her teeth started growing slowly, but she wasn't like a full vampire, and they were able to save her. But like if someone put a cross on her, then she would get burned, so she was like tainted.
Maybe they had to finish the blood.
I don't know. Maybe they have to be drained.
Because that's what happened to Mark.
No,
No, sorry, the other guy. Matt?
Mike.
Mike.
There's a lot of M names in this book.
yeah, I kept thinking. I think that's why I ignored Mark earlier on, because I kept confusing Mike and Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I remember we were talking about that earlier.
But Mike is the
Mark.
teacher.
No.
Matt.
Matt is the teacher.
Matt and Mike. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, them two.
And then Mark Petrie, Mark Pee Wee. So you can remember he's a kid.
Yeah, I know the Petrie
Okay.
guy is the kid.
And what's up? They were talking about the dog. Like,
That was kind of confusing.
yeah, I was confused because I thought they said the dog was to like ward off vampires or.
Yeah, but then what's his name? Straker did it as a favor for Barlow. But like, how does that benefit him? I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, I was confused.
I understood that part. I think like there's like some things that can ward off a vampire. Like for example, garlic or just the cross. And another thing that can make a vampire go away or just have to flee is a black dog with like white over its eyes. And so that's what that dog looked like. So Straker did his boss a favor by removing or sacrificing the dog, so it wouldn't have an impact on his like master moving around freely throughout the town. Because otherwise, if the dog showed up, the vampire would have to just back off right away because they can't be together for some reason.
Oh, so that they can't use it later.
It'd be the same thing as like holding the cross to the vampire. But I had
Okay,
never heard
so
of
if
that
the
one.
dog
So
if the dog was alive,
yeah,
Supposed to be like
but if the dog's dead, it's fine.
because it's like supposed to be angel eyes or something. So then, vampires don't like angels. So.
Oh yeah, and remember how what's his name? Straker was asking about like the wolves or something.
Twilight.
The vampires can command like the meaner or lesser animals like wolves. The animals that I've like considered to be evil, like in folklore, like wolves, rats, snakes, things like that, they can command them. So I wonder like what the rats are going to do eventually too.
Like the wolves.
That's like my least to see though. I don't like to see dead dogs. Have you guys watched The Watcher?
No.
God, the very
I heard
last.
that it's good.
Yeah.
I only saw the first episode.
My mom's been watching it.
That's the only reason why it lost a star in my rating.
I think Mark was pretty impressive with how he got loose from the rope and everything and started taking out Streaker.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I know the book says he's tall for his age, but I still like imagine like kids are not that big usually. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, dang.
Hey, you guys said that Straker is not a vampire? Did you guys say that?
That's a spoiler alert, yeah.
I haven't read it.
He's the vampire's familiar, like a lowly assistant. The Peter Pettigrew to the Voldemort is what Straker is.
How is he so strong? Like, where did he get his power? Like, his strength?
I don't think he has really any powers besides looking creepy now. I thought he did before, but
He carried a 300-pound chair.
maybe he has some powers.
Or maybe he like
Yeah.
shifted into a human, and he's really like, I don't know, a different creature.
No.
Hey, are there bats in this scenario? Because aren't they supposed to turn into bats?
That's what I thought.
They can, yeah, but I haven't seen it so far.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that when Matt was like talking about stuff they can do, but no one's seen that.
My phone's dying.
Oh no.
I just got notified. Are we finishing the book after this section? Or
Yeah.
So we finish it by Halloween.
Here we are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're finishing it.
Damn.
Rico, do you have a lot to read?
So yeah, so last week there was a few days where I worked at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would leave the house like at 5:30 or 5 p.m. to get to Richmond by 7:30 because there was traffic. And it like wrecked my schedule, my sleeping schedule. And so I didn't read anything until yesterday and today.
Damn.
I was reading. What is it? It starts with us.
I was about to say you can't know.
You finished so fast.
Talk about it. You don't know the
Oh, you already
title.
finished it?
Yeah,
Damn.
3
I
days.
haven't even bought it yet.
My sister, I just got my book and I was like, I finished it. She goes, "Aw." It's because mine got downloaded to my Kindle, so I was able to, like the first day.
I think I'm gonna wait till winter break or Thanksgiving break and binge read both of them. Like the first one to like refresh my brain, and then the second one right after.
Oh,
It does have little snippets. The first one and the second one. It has snippets, like journal entries that are like that are necessary, like I guess to tell a certain story, or like in the second one.
Okay.
Good to know.
So it's almost like it all comes back. Like when you start reading it, you're like, I remember this. I remember this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm reading The Four Winds as my side book, and it's super tragic.
It's trashy?
Tragic.
Oh, I was like, I've never heard Karina say that.
That was extremely depressing.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah,
I keep waiting for something like good to happen.
Oh no.
But it's good. It's a good read, definitely. But just sad.
Okay, I have a question. So, what's her name? Susan became a vampire?
Yeah.
Correct.
Is Ben also a vampire?
No.
Is he gonna like sacrifice himself?
I could see him if he really loves Susan, be like, oh, I'm gonna be a vampire too. But I think he's gonna have to put the stake through her heart.
I
feel like Kay gets out of it because I feel like it's him and Mark in Mexico or whatever at the beginning.
Oh, true. I totally forgot that.
Oh yeah.
So then he doesn't. So he does kill Susan, I bet.
Or maybe
he was faking the love. It was never real.
Yeah.
He's like, haha, the vampires took you great. There's no other way I could get rid of you.
You needed a temporary piece of butt.
Wow.
Hey, he did say he was gonna leave the town once he finished his book.
See, easy way out.
I'll see
Take
you on
them, take them.
Oh no, but how, for those of you who finished the letter that Barlow left them, it says something about like getting Mark's parents. I wonder if he did get Mark's parents, and
I
that's
don't
why
think
he
he
has
did.
to be like with Ben. I hope not. That'd be really sad.
No, I don't think so. I think they're still like that's like present. So I think that's just like a threat. Like if they keep going, that's
Okay.
exactly where he's gonna start. So I don't think he's done it yet because I think that was like right at that moment.
I feel like that would be really sad.
There was.
I know. That letter was
It was very intense, I felt.
yes, so frustrating.
What are you guys
Like,
talking
what
about?
the heck?
So Barlow leaves a threatening letter to, the gang who's trying to take him down. And it's just like very threatening. Like, I already know what you all are doing. I'm all this time. I'm way smarter than you all. I'm going to take everything you love. And Mark, because of something you did to my servant, I'm going to take your parents. And it's just like really threatening and evil.
Mhm.
So I have a question. When they say lock your windows, are they still able to, like, let's say they had already been invited in, even if your windows are locked, can they still get in?
Yes, because they make themselves into the dust and they just seep in through the cracks.
Okay.
I think this is in the beginning. It says Henry Petrie and his wife and son are gone. And Mr. Petrie is a Prudential insurance company executive, could hardly be called a deadbeat. So do we know if Henry Mark is the son, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So since they're saying that Henry Petrie and his wife and son are gone, I'm sure the parents turn into vampires, and maybe the son is gone because he's not necessarily a vampire, but he's gone with Ben, thinking of the future.
That could be it. Yeah, I have a feeling the parents are going to end up turning. I just feel like it's definitely like something like Stephen King would do to just like take someone, especially like because Mark is a kid. It'd be really like scary and just really sad and very like impactful if like his parents are just turned. I'm rereading the beginning part too.
This kind of reminds me of the movie I Am Legend.
Oh yeah, it talks a lot about the people who were missing at the beginning of the newspaper clipping. Yeah, I think you're right, Judith.
It's just weird because it's like they talk about the future, but I completely ignore the future and went straight to like the present story. So as I look back, I'm like, wait, they gave us so much in the beginning.
There's not one business left open.
I
didn't even read the prologue.
I mean, I read it, but I'm not gonna remember when you're like this deep in here with like 50 characters.
Look, it says on page 9, Father Donald Callahan is also missing. Mabel Wirtz, and Eva Miller, the boarding house. And the page before it says, or 2 pages before it says what Judith was saying about the Petrie and the son. And then also at the bottom of page 7, Lawrence Crockett, the guy who was, in cahoots with Straker. So it's like, a lot of the big people from the town.
Wait, Mabel is gone?
Yeah, right before section 4 starts, it says some of the other people that the state police would like to locate or at least hear from include John Groggins, Pastor, Father Donald Callahan, Mabel Wirtz, Lester and Harriet Durham, and Eva Miller, who ran a local boarding house.
Oh yeah.
Imagine Ben tries to go back home and everyone's turned into a vampire at the boarding house. Like, where are they going to stay? What's going to be their headquarters? Maybe the church? Because it's hallowed ground.
Can they? Oh, I guess they can go into the cemetery.
And then he has confessed everything. Oh, they could go to the cemetery. The cemetery is also supposed to be hallowed ground, right?
For witches.
Mm.
Wild.
Yeah, I think we're gonna find out like a lot more people are gonna go missing, and it's just gonna be like either some of the main characters, the good ones, escape, or they're gonna be turned. Because I don't think everyone's gonna survive.
Has that one guy, Mr. Barlow, came out?
A little bit, but not much.
Who saw him?
Dud from the dump, right?
Who?
The strong guy?
Is Dud the strong one? Dud is the one that has like the hunchback, I think.
Yeah, he's strong.
Well, I was also upsetting that I think in part of like the very end of the reading, it said like they already got Ruthie. She was like one of the cellar vamps or something.
Mm.
I feel like it's a cycle where it's just gonna keep repeating itself.
Instead of the circle of life, it's like the circle of death.
But like, I kind of wonder if it's the same. I mean, if has it always been Barlow, or was the Hugh guy part of it? Like, was the Hugh guy maybe like Straker? He helped him,
Oh, I feel like I
and it's
agree
always
with
been
that.
Barlow.
Yeah, because Barlow says something about like, oh, Marston helped me get over here or something,
Yeah,
right?
like he was my like good friend or whatever.
Yeah, I think he must have been a familiar, yeah.
But I wonder why that house, like it started with him. It's weird.
Maybe. Because Marston was supposed to be like in with the mob and everything, right? So I could imagine him striking a deal with Barlow and like, hey, you help me get rid of my enemies and I just want to be rich, but then maybe went too far. If Marston was already a vampire, he would not have died just by hanging himself. He would have to have like the stake through the heart and everything. So I wonder.
Well, if he was like Straker, then he wasn't a vampire.
Or I wonder maybe Marston's wife got bitten and she wanted to die instead of be a vampire because it says he shot her, but like they never said why, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of mysteries, a lot of unanswered questions.
There is a movie, right, to this book?
I think there's already one and they're making a new one, I believe, right? It should be a good movie, I think.
I know, I feel like it would be really good.
I think there's a new one because Barnes & Noble brought out that one like bluish, one Rico's holding.
Movie on my computer's in it.
Wait, 32.
Motion picture artwork 2022, it says on the back of this one, so that means it must be current, right?
Yeah.
I wonder who they're casting in it.
I'm rereading the letter in the beginning, and they were talking about another town that like disappeared before this called Mom's Son or something. So I wonder if that's where Mabel was or something. Like rather than it being the same town this happened, was it a neighboring?
Oh, it's not coming out until April 2023.
What?
It was supposed to come out September 9th. but it got backtracked because of, I think, COVID-related delays.
It'd be so perfect if it came out during Halloween time.
I know.
Monday after my birthday.
Let's see, cast of Salem's Lot.
Anybody we know?
Hold on, I'm barely typing it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were already reading into it.
Lewis Pullman, Mackenzie Lee, she must be Susan, Spencer Treat Clark, and Bill Camp. So it doesn't look like anyone I really know. The adaptation will be the first time King's Vampire Story has ever reached the big screen. And it boasts an all-star cast, so we probably do know them, but maybe just not by name.
It's the first time. What?
The first time
Dr.
that this.
Cody's a woman.
Oh, I like that.
Who?
Dr. Cody's a woman in this movie.
Love it.
Do you remember where it said where the Hebrew guy killed his wife?
Where or why?
Do you remember where that was?
I think it starts at the beginning, but I don't remember exactly where.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. It seems that this person has done some Stephen King movies before.
Yeah.
At least this guy Doberman for the screenplay.
So Ben he was in Top. Wait, what? He was in Top Gun?
Let me see. Lewis Pullman. Let me see what let me see.
Oh, no, don't play.
That's what I'm scared. All filmography.
Top Gun, Maverick. He is
Oh yeah,
guy.
he's the character poster. No.
Oh, he's the one they call Bob. They make fun of him as Bob, so we don't really know him. I don't really know him. Okay. Mike.
What the heck?
Yeah, I don't recognize any of these people. Mackenzie. What was she in? Nope. Aw, cute. Look at Mark.
Oh.
He looks so innocent. Pirate hat?
I know. I saw that. I was like, what the hell does that mean?
What does that mean? That's weird.
That's a pirate hat?
Yeah, that's what they put. It's gonna be floated around. I don't know.
A skeleton?
I mean, so far the book is okay.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm looking at the cast.
That's it for me. One thing I'm finding that I'm most surprised about is I never thought about vampires going by windows. Like, it's such a big thing in this book. I mean, I just know about the coffins and all that stuff, but windows? I'm like, that seems very stalker.
Oh, man. Father, I think I'm gonna have to go. My dad's calling me. I know.
Okay.
My dad called me and then my mom texted me at the same time. I was like, what the heck?
Oh,
I mean, there was an earthquake over here, but I didn't feel it.
oh,
Oh yeah, I forgot that you were also in the Bay.
yeah.
I didn't feel it either, but we had to do the evacuation procedure and everything. But some other people at my school felt it.
I felt it.
Rico felt it.
Oh, you did?
The library lights at my school were going like this, apparently.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see.
I guess we'll anybody else
Nope, I just want
anything to add?
I just want to see what happens in the end.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
Um,
reread like this one middle section just because I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something.
I feel like I've been for the book club books. I usually read the chapter before to kind of like get my brain like back in it. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
what's
think I
happening?
need
Then
to
I
do
keep
that
going
because
because it helps.
you just get thrown in and you're like, what just happened?
Mhm.
But yeah, read to the end and then we read the next book. So we're gonna have to vote this time around.
Sweet.
Get your I'm glad my mom died. Yeah, is that what it's called?
I already got the ebook. Yep.
Yeah, I need to go get it.
I think I'm gonna listen to it.
I think books with actors are good ones to listen to, especially if they read it themselves.
Is she reading it?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
I can check. That'd be cool.
yeah.
Because like the Mindy Kaling books, if you ever read her books on audiobook, it's super funny.
I think I need to do that.
Like, why is everyone hanging out without me? I think, and then there's one by another comedian, Aziz Ansari. I think it's like Modern Love or Modern Romance or something. That one was pretty humorous too.
Mm.
Yes, and she narrates it.
Nice.
How cool. So I think I'm gonna listen.
Oh, I might want to listen too.
I might want to as well.
It'll be like a podcast almost. Okay, I need to call him back because I think he's worried.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'll see you guys next week. Have a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Bye. Happy
In
Halloween.
your costumes. Just kidding.
Have a bat costume. I'm gonna wear it. My little wings.
Do it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Night.